Happy to be joined by head coach of MMA Factory Paris, Fernand Lopez, who will be in the corner of interim champion Ciryl Gane, who will attempt to unify the belts with Francis Ngannou in the main event of UFC 270. Fernand, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing, Farah?
I'm doing very good, thank you. We're a couple of weeks away. How has training camp for Ciryl looked overall? Are you guys starting to wrap up right now?
We're good. We're fine. Everything is cool. Everything going smoothly. We're just fighting to do not get caught by the COVID. That's it. But if we make it to avoid the COVID, then we're good to. We will be there in NIM.
Oh, of course. Have you, because you guys moved into the very new, beautiful facility at MMA Factory. Are you trying to limit the amount of people that are around Cyril now because of the fight?
Oh, that's been the protocol. Every time that we have a camp, no matter who is going to the camp, we have that group of people working with him. They got tested every 2 days, and they stick together and the training only together. So, yeah, there's something that we used to like. This is like 2 years. We're doing the same thing. Whenever we have a camp, I will decide with the team who is the coaches of the guy. They will stick with him, and no one will get across to them in the time to train. So we can make sure that we are avoiding the bad situation.
Oh no, that sounds very reasonable. Tell me about the new facility. How has it been moving into it? It must be very exciting for you.
That's very. I mean, mostly because we spend all our time, all the thing that you know about MMA Factory, have been done is a very small gym. So it's kind of funny to have that space that we have now, and in Paris it's kind of special. So yeah, we're enjoying all the moment, all the time, and we kind of like Cyril is spend almost all day at gym. Like he shows up at gym at 10 a.m. and then we spend the first training session in the morning, and then have like shower, lunch, therapy, sleep a little bit. You have a small place that you can just go there and have a nap, and then come back for the second session at 4:30 p.m., which is kind of comfortable.
Oh, that's good to hear. Let's talk about the big fight, of course. One of the storylines, I know there's been a lot of storylines and a lot of drama surrounding this fight, but one of the storylines was kind of the old sparring footage that came out between Ciryl and Francis wasn't too happy with it. He said he didn't really, it painted a false picture. Ciryl was honest about his assessment. He said that, it may have made him look a little bit good, and maybe that's not exactly how the sparring sessions went. But in your eyes, you were obviously there, how would you describe their sparring sessions, and do you feel like it plays a factor at all into this fight?
First of all, I need to tell that I don't really get what is the problem with that footage, because no matter what happened in that footage or that video, that training, that do not look as fight. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Francis would be. That what we're seeing in the training is not Francis at all. This is just a training, and uh, no one used that video in order to try to make him look bad or make him look good. What I'm saying is that what you have to know is that no matter who you shoot, no matter which one you decide to show, if you do not show all the training session, which is an hour of training or sparring, if you don't put all of that online, there's someone who's going to say, oh, you put the part that I wasn't looking good. What I'm trying to say is that there's not any manipulation of the video, as Francis said. Manipulation means you change the speed of the video and you make him look slow when Cyril is looking fast. Manipulation means, well, you put the video out when I'm looking bad and I was doing very good earlier or whatever. I mean, he can come out with whatever he want to do, but first of all, I'm not pretending that this is how all this training session looks. I didn't even think that that footage was going in Ciryl advantage. To be honest with you, I thought that a couple times we can see on the video that he got caught by the Francis uppercut. So I don't know what is the big deal with this. What I'm trying to say is that if you take any sport like in the UFC and you take any clip of anyone getting caught in the uppercut and the fight is end, I mean, it can say, well, the just took the place that they can make me look bad. No, it's not about taking the place that they can make you look bad. I mean, they are trying to sell the guy from the MMA Factory, the community manager in the MMA Factory. They try to publish and sell whoever they have on them. So again, I think that video wasn't looking exactly how the training used to go. The training used to go back and forth. And to be honest with you, if I have to be completely honest, because Ciryl Gane is honest and said this part of the video, I think that I'm looking good on that because we are going in a slow pace. And one is a slow pace without using a power. I'm kind of tactical, so I look good on that. But in the end of that video, you can ask Francis when you have the chance to talk with him. He had a knee. He just bent a knee. He just sit down, literally stop the fight because he got a big knee on the liver that day of the training session. I have that footage of video, but because I don't want to release that because I'm not there to try to use that as a. That do not help anyway. I mean, like, do you think that if you show a video of someone knocking someone in the training, then means that he is a winner in the fight? No, I don't think that. So this is something that if the committee manager of MMA Factory, they thought that they should try to make him look bad, they would have showed a video where Ciryl Gane is trying to pick him up because he just hit a knee on the liver, is sitting against a wall and he's sitting there and it can't go anymore and he's sitting there and Ciryl went there and said, hey, come on boy, let's go, let's keep going, don't sit down, don't stop, don't give up. That's what happened in that training. And if Francis have anything else to say about that footage that is better true than what I'm saying, he should just come up and say, well, I shocked him or I submit him or I took him down, or I knocked him out. I don't know what he have in mind. I don't know what he's telling, but I have a footage of Ciryl Gane throwing a knee on the liver and Francis stopping the training, going sit down. And we didn't publish that. They didn't publish that, the community manager in MMA Factory. I think Francis is now going on with sort of mentality of complotists. You see complot everywhere. Like the UFC, they make up a video, they made up something so we can meet, they arrange everything so we went this way. No, listen. They couldn't have me in that place on purpose because at some point we went from the press conference. I'm talking about Houston. No Houston. Madison Square Garden. We went from that press conference with Nasruddin. We was walking and tried to get where we can stop and look the fight of Pereira. We saw that fight on the TV. We just stopped there, and eventually we should have go to the doctor, but we just stopped there and watched that fight. And in the place that Francis went, almost all the VIP, almost all the guests went in that road, the same place. I mean, like we had Usman going by there, we had bunch of fighters going by there, including guests of people. So I think this kind of mentality of saying, "Oh, they want to do this to me, they are doing this to me, they try to manipulate." Oh, no, the video was you. That was you. It's only you and Ciryl. No one changed the color of the video. No one changed the speed of the video. But again, I get it. You are right. There's a lot of sport in the gym that Francis looked better than what it shows on that training session. I mean, there's a bunch of training that Francis was edging Ciryl, and there's a bunch of training that Ciryl was edging Francis. So that's what I have to say about that footage.
Not about that clip in general, but when you look at the sparring in general, do you think it plays a factor at all going into the fight as a coach, you watching both guys over the years, or do you feel like it was too long ago?
No, it's not about too long ago. Let me put it simple. People that are saying about this one that's too long ago. It did change. Both guys met amount of evolution. I think Francis that we know 2 years ago is not the same, and I think Ciryl Gane that we know 2 years ago is not the same anymore. It's going that it's so fast that I don't think it's the same. What we just have to know is that the training session is somewhere that big fighter as Francis, with a lot of experience, will try to dictate the pace and make sure that if you guys meet eventually at some point, you will remind that he's the king. And the other guys, he'll try to make the same when they are in the weight class. No matter the weight class, I have so many guys in my gym, and I know that there's people that when they face, because they are in the same gym at almost the same level, they try to just go and make sure that they are aging the guy. They have a little bit more than the guy. So again, I think they probably think they know whatever they have in their head. I don't really know what Ciryl have in mind of the perception of the sparring with Francis. I don't really know what Francis had in mind, but what I know is that they had enough of training session to know each other a little bit. And again, because Francis do not wear 4-O's gloves, because he do not because he do not try to kill Ciryl at the training is different. I mean, you heard Ciryl and myself saying that we know that Francis is one of the, if not the best or the harder hitter that we ever witnessed. That's true. So you cannot compare someone in the training session when you have chin guard, when you have big gloves, and try to punch you the same as and compare that to the fight. So I think Ciryl knows exactly what's coming up, and I think Francis knows what's coming up. I bet it's not easy to find the truth between the intimidation, the trash talk, and what is real. I don't really think that what Francis saying is real. I think it's mix of a little bit everything, like try to give a little bit intox, saying that Fernand Lopez don't know anything about me because this is 3 years we didn't meet. He don't know anything about me. But me, Francis Ngannou, I know everything about Fernand Lopez. I can tell how he thinks. I can predict his game plan. That's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of opposite what you're thinking. It's kind of weird to think that I was a coach. I'm the one who observed you. You was fighting, and you believe that we didn't meet 3 years, but you believe that you are the one who knows me, and I don't know you. I can predict and anticipate how to put down a game plan for Derek Lewis. I can predict and have a game plan for Volkov. But you think that I cannot predict someone that I spent almost 5 years with you, sleeping in the same room, traveling together? I don't really think it's the reality. I think this is the intox. I think this is kind of try to just convince himself of what he thinks. But again, we are about to find out the reality.
Yeah, and do you think, because obviously there's a lot going on with Francis, he's got his contract situation as well. Do you think he's going to be a little emotional going into this one? Do you think that it's going to affect him, everything that's going on, maybe a bit of the drama, his contract situation with the UFC? Are you expecting that to affect him at all?
I don't expect that to affect him. I believe that um, uh, he did put himself in this kind of situation, first of all. I mean, like, it's not a coincidence. Having someone like, um, if you think Kamaru Usman is a champ, you never heard him fighting with the UFC. Israel Adesanya is a champ. You never heard him fighting in the UFC. They are negotiating. Their manager have a lot of negotiation with UFC, right? Conor McGregor, he's the one making the most money, but he fought with the UFC. But in the end of the day, they find a way to keep working because they understand the reality that the UFC, they give you and you give them something. You can't just come there and try to ask something and force something. Well, you write a contract. Your contract didn't have anything about boxing, and you just come there and say, "Oh, I need boxing now. Oh, now, you know what? I need more money now." So I think he put himself in that kind of situation. But the question that you're asking me, do I think that that will interfere on his performance? I don't hope so, because I don't think Ciryl Gane need that. I really want this fight to keep what I think that we will witness on January 22, one of the best fight ever in that division. I really think that uh, I'm honored to be part of that and to witness that. Like people do was saying that they are proud to have been in Kinshasa in Zaire when Mohamed Ali did fought there. So I think this is one of the best fight that we are in the division, and so I want the Francis Ngannou that I knows, the best Francis that I knows to come to shows up, even the best, the better version of what I know. To shows up, and expect the best Ciryl to shows up, so we can just have the best fight that we can have. No matter, I mean, each one of them will deal with what he have in his mind, and that's it.
And when you look at this fight, do you feel that, Francis talking about wanting to box and stuff like that, you obviously know him pretty well. So do you think he would have success in boxing? What's your opinion on him wanting to box in the future?
Well, it's not easy. The boxing stuff is not easy. I think Francis is powerful in the MMA rules, but again in that rules of boxing of I'm not sure that he's going to do pretty well on that. I'm not sure. It's kind of you need dedication for the boxing. Boxing is kind of, you need to train that like quite a long time. But I don't think we are going to boxing. We are people fighting for the MMA going to boxing because they're going there to perform and to show that they are good boxer. I think Farah are going there to cash out. I think if at some point, this is a strategy that I used to. I was Francis Ngannou agent, so we used to talk about this, saying that, okay, listen, the short way for you is to go to the MMA first and own the right to box for a big cash out. Because again, when you deal with the UFC, you need to understand what's going on. The UFC is not a non-profit organization. It's not the government organization. It's not the Judo Federation. It's not the Wrestling Federation. It's a private company. And they do whatever they want to do. You can't do anything about it. And people do still misunderstand that. I mean, like, we can I have a law action, collective law action, maybe change something. But you can't think that individually you will go there and try to impose your will to a private company. So you need to understand that if Conor McGregor wasn't UFC double champ, he would never have the right to box against Mayweather. You need to keep that in mind. Meaning that if you take out the UFC and the three-letter UFC from the name of Francis Ngannou, I'm not even sure he will have the license to box for the Nevada boxing match. I mean, the level is, we don't have that level to go play with boxer. Let's be honest. So when a company give you that legitimacy to go there and cash out money, show some respect, understand the game, and then you can move on. So no, I'm not. I think that it's right to try to cash out some money there, but I think that is, that is a one shot. I mean, like, you don't expect a guy from MMA going there and making a career on boxing. Is something else. It's different.
For sure. And this fight is so big. It's one of the biggest in heavyweight history, of course, in UFC heavyweight history. But what's the feel like in France? I mean, they are, I know Francis doesn't fight out of France right now, but he did obviously grow up there. And Ciryl obviously being based in France, being French. What is the feel in France? Are they giving it that big fight feel that it deserves?
Oh my God, it's crazy. It's crazy. I never believed that I will witness this. It's crazy. I mean, like, if you think that 2 years ago the MMA was banned in France, and now we have every sort of media, every kind of media. I mean, the one they are talking about cooking, the one talking about home business, or I mean, whatever you have, all the journalists are on this and try to know and talk about this, the football, everything. Like, you are aware that I have my show, my event RS,
Yes.
and that event RS, the number of big name football player coming in that event are amazing. Like, they just, the MMA is now something. I didn't know that I would witness that, and this fight coming up is crazy. It's crazy not only in France, because we need to keep that in mind and know that, remember that Francis brought the light and brought the big exposition to France, to MMA Factory, to myself. I mean, like, I own Francis a lot of I own him a lot of credit, or the way people know me now around the world, and French people, the own Francis, the way that he brought to France, the reality, the way that people know the French because he was training in France, and that's the same for Ciryl. So now in France is crazy, and not only in France, in Africa is crazy, because again, I'm from Cameroon, I'm African, and it's crazy there in Cameroon, it's crazy in Africa, everyone is pumped. I mean, like, so many so many people talking about this. Is crazy. I can't wait.
That's amazing to hear. Do you think at the end of this, I mean, win or lose, do you think you can shake Francis's hand at the end of this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, even before that, I don't need to win or lose. Like I said again, when I'm talking about Francis, as I looks and I seems a little bit bitter, but again, it's only fact. I'm just putting fact, and I'm just letting know the question that you guys are asking me. When people said his coach did bash him around, no, I didn't go out there and try to publish something and say Francis Ngannou did this or did this. No, you guys, you journalists, asked me, hey, do you think that what Dana White said is true? Do you think that Francis Ngannou has a big ego? And I said, yes, he do. He does have a big ego. And I told him, to Francis, this is not something that I just said that to the media before talking to him. I told him that before even coming out. So when you ask me something, I'm honest. Hey, how do you think? How was your fall down with Francis? What happened? Or if you ask me, I will tell you. If you don't ask me, I'm not going there. I mean, like, I have my own life. I have things that I have to do. But again, if I meet Francis and then he's willing to say hello to me, I will say hello, of course. But I don't expect him to say hello. That's why I was so amused when Ciryl Gane said, "Oh, why he's not saying hello?" And I was like, "I told you, are you crazy? I mean, I told you, what do you expect from him? What do you expect?" And again, that's kind of fair. I mean, like, I totally understand Francis. I don't even understand why people are making a case for this, because I said things not nice on Francis. Francis said things not nice on me. He's right that we don't have to be hypocrite and try to pretend that we are loving each other. But again, we can be polite and just shake hands, and I can shake Francis' hands. Yeah.
I want to touch on a couple of things before I let you go, and I appreciate your time. How's the training camp looked for Ciryl? Have you guys brought in, I know you said you have a small group, but have you brought in anyone specific to train for Francis?
No, we didn't brought anyone from outside. One of the person that helped the most Francis for his training camp for all his career was Nasurin Imavov. He knows Francis as not a lot of people knows Francis that much. He's been trying to take Francis down, been trying to submit Francis, been trying to touch Francis at the gym. So I thought that the speed would prevail on the strength. So we start to try to touch, no get touch, try to anticipate what he can do to change his game, try to learn from the masterclass that he gave to CP on the last fight and the mistakes that he made that day, because he made so much mistake that day that people do forget. They didn't really check about it. There was like, oh, his improvement is so much. Oh my God. When people they didn't check, when the time will call, people will come, people will go back and say, oh shit, that wasn't that great that it looks. But so the main sparring was Nasruddin Imavov, and then we brought for the wrestling. We didn't brought him. He's from our gym. He's the next thing in the heavyweight division is Marcel Shishev. Fought in RS in Paris and will fight the next month for the title shot in RS. He's a Greco-Roman champion on wrestling junior, and he's now very well rounded. Can kick, can submit, can punch. So this is the man that was muzzling Ciryl all the time, and for the speed, for the timing, for the accuracy, that was Nasruddin Imavov.
A lot of people, when they break this fight down, they talk about Cyryl's movement and his speed and Francis's power. Is it that simple in your eyes, or do you feel like it's kind of like a generalization that everyone's doing?
It's kind of generalization, but again, I think we have the most heavy expression of power with a lot of intelligence in Francis' side, and we have the most pure expression of fight IQ with a lot of strength. So Francis is intelligent. Ciryl is a computer. Francis is very, very strong. Ciryl is strong as a heavyweight. So yeah, I think it's a. I mean, if you want to simplify the explanation, it's not that far from the reality. Yes.
And obviously, Gane is coming off of the win over Derek Lewis. I'm not saying Derek and Francis are the same fighter. They do both possess big knockout power. So are you expecting some similarities at all? Do you feel like that was kind of a good preparation for Ciryl fighting a guy like Derek Lewis, the record holder for most knockouts in UFC history?
Definitely. It's a good preparation, but do not mean anything. I mean, Francis Ngannou is quite a different animal, like moving faster than, I mean, he's pretty quick for that weight class. Very, I mean, he's kind of fast for that weight class. I mean, people don't understand how fast can be Francis. He's fast. Ciryl is faster, but Francis is fast. He's kind of quick when he moves. He have a decent footwork. And like I said again, he's athletic. Like, you know, when a couple of times when Ciryl Gane fought Derek Lewis, there's a couple of times that Derek Lewis rush to try to cut him, to cut the angle. But because of the athleticism and that Ciryl Gane can run like faster, he eventually make it to escape. And I think if that was Francis, he would have closed the gap a little bit more faster than that. So I think this is what he should do. Try to learn how to close that gap a little bit more faster. But again, you never know what's going to happen if you try to close that gap that faster. Because if you go faster, you cannot control and brake. That means if they crash, if the direction changing, your fault. So that's why this fight is kind of intriguing. I love it because you cannot compare Derek Lewis with Francis in all the performance. You can compare because Derek Lewis right now on the paper is the best knockout artist ever in the history of UFC. Period. Statistically, Francis knocked people out every 18 punches. I did count myself. Statistically, when Francis throw 18 punch, there's a knockout punch in that amount of 18. So people, they have to stop saying that every punch of Francis is knocking people down. It's not. But you're playing with your life because the knocking punch can be the first one or the last one. You never know where is the really powerful punch. So that's why I'm in love with this fight. Definitely, if I can just trade my position with you, Farah, and have my popcorn and watch that fight, I will be so happy.
Yeah, I'm sure. And now, one last one. I want to ask about Taylor Lapilus. I mean, he's one of the more talented guys to ever come out of your gym, and really an abrupt departure from the UFC. He had a 2-1 record and went on to win 7 of 8, I believe. He's on quite a roll. What's the update on him? Because I believe you had said something on Twitter where you said he did get the call from the UFC, but he decided to fulfill his duty for Aries, right?
Yeah, I feel like I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have that kind of people around me. Taylor Lapilus did something out of greatness for us. This kid have been wondering why they cut him from the UFC after victory. He was 3-1 in the UFC, got cut from the UFC. Okay. And we fought back and make sure that he can go back to the UFC. He became a double champion in the GMC, the best organization in Germany. become the champion in the TKO best organization in Canada. Eventually beat the guy that was undefeated. And that guy signed in the UFC and is now on the run of 3 straight wins.
Nate Maness, yes.
Yeah. So he was backing me and making sure that we get in the UFC. We was talking with Sean. Sean tried to get him there very fast. We got a visa problem. So Sean have to, the matchmaking of the UFC have to postpone that fight. We stopped that because the passport didn't got on time. I got the contract. Everything was done. Everything. And I asked Taylor, can we go, do you want to go to the USA? And Taylor said, no, I've been waiting the UFC very, very long time. And I don't want to let you down on 5-day notice for the main event. He was the main event against Wilson Reyes, the former contender for the flyweight division in the UFC. So Taylor said, look, you know what? If they think that I'm good, they're going to call me back. If they don't call me back, it's okay. I mean, I've been trying to be there a very long time, and this time I have my day, and this is big opportunity for me to fight in Paris. I will make that happen. So that's what happened. So he won the fight, and majority decision, and I think we will see him in the UFC soon. And he has the kind of career that he can end up finish like Moreno. I'm seeing him going back to the UFC and become champion down the road at some point. Yeah.
That would be quite the story. He's still only 29 years old. Fernand, I really appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much for taking the time and giving us some more insight on this fight. I can only imagine, I mean, it's a big fight for us to watch as fans, but I can only imagine in your position how big of a fight it is for you. So appreciate you hopping on and giving us the insight, and best of luck on January 22nd.
Thank you, Farah. Thank you, MMA Junkie.